Guys, Bitcoin has been going sideways for well over 2 weeks right now, and today I need to talk about something that's happening in the background right now that is going to have a massive effect on Bitcoin moving forward. There's a few different theories that are suggesting what we have been waiting for, flight of capital coming from China into Bitcoin. We may have the proof right here. I'll show you the data, guys. I am also going to talk you through what's been happening in the markets recently. I will talk you through some on-chain charts showing us what we can expect moving forward. So guys, make sure to stick around from the beginning until the end of this video. Welcome back everybody, my name is Chris, bringing you cryptocurrency videos every day. If you're new to the channel, then make sure to subscribe and activate the bell right now. So Bitcoin has been going sideways, and you can see that we approached my orange box here, saw rejection, and since then we've just been going sideways in general. So on the charts, my thoughts remains the same, that short term, I'm still cautious until we break above the key levels of resistance, which you are failing to break above. So I'm still cautious in the short term. However, I do still think that if you're accumulating for the long term, I think that Bitcoin is going to go up higher eventually as Bitcoin catches up, because Bitcoin has all of the properties to be a store of value, all of these things. People, institutions just needs to treat it that way. And maybe, just maybe, I have a very good explanation here for why people are not treating it as a store of value just yet, but also why that is about to change. So stick around, guys. I will share that with you here in a bit. For Ethereum, also Ethereum is slowly grinding upwards, but mainly going sideways here. Same for Solana. Trying to break above these levels of resistance that I have established here, but failing to do so. For traditional markets, you can see the S&P 500 equity market here having a bit of a green candle, but nothing really to scream out of joy for. And here you have also gold. Silver is trying to stay above my orange box here, guys. If silver loses this level, then I do think that metals in general, but gold I think is going to continue to do well, but metals in general could see further downside here if silver does not hold my orange box here. So that's what I'm looking at right now in the immediate short term. Now let us look at something interesting here. So something caught my eye in the latest 13F filings. So the biggest new entrant into IBIT, which is the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF, of course, from a brand new entity is something called L'Aurore Ltd. Now they have no website, no press, no footprint. They have no information about them. The only public information is that the filer's name is Zhang Hu and it's Hong Kong based. Now why is this interesting? Because let's look at this for a second. So Zhang Hu is the Chinese equivalent of John Smith, which is the most common name out of everyone. And if you want to be anonymous, but you want to use a public name, then this is the thing that they would use in China, just like John Smith in the USA, because they are going to be buried statistically. If you're going to look for information on this individual, it will be buried between millions and millions of people and data points, and it is essentially untraceable. The LTD suggests that it is a structure from Cayman Islands or British Virgin Islands, which is the classic offshore wrapper for accessing US markets. And the portfolio, they only have one thing in the portfolio, and that is IBIT, which is $436 million worth of Bitcoin. So why would you do this? Because Chinese investors cannot hold Bitcoin. That is what it looked like. If someone wants to hold Bitcoin, this is the structure they would want. So could this be institutional capital from China finally moving into Bitcoin, even though they're not allowed to, and they don't use crypto exchanges or other gray markets, but they do it through the BlackRock ETFs. And also, if you look at L'Aurore, it actually comes from the French word l'aurore, which is the dawn. And excuse my pronunciation here. So this smells like capital flight to me. So maybe finally you're seeing institutions, ultra high net worth individuals, finally adopting Bitcoin, but in a way that they can do it because they have to circumvent, of course, the ban by China. Now, if you look at this in more detail, I want to go back to a speech I saw about a year ago. This was Vice President J.D. Vance, and he said, China does not like Bitcoin. We should be asking ourselves, why is that? Why is our biggest adversary such an opponent of Bitcoin? If China is leaning away from Bitcoin, then maybe the US should be leaning into Bitcoin. So they're offering Bitcoin as an alternative to Chinese investors, and the Chinese wealth that is fleeing China, of course you can buy gold, you can buy these things. However, buying Bitcoin, which is, according to me, a better value proposition long-term than buying gold, now they have the vehicle or the means to do that, even though they have to jump through some hoops here. So maybe this is the beginning of a trend. Of course, this is a long shot. I will admit that it's a long shot, but at least it is something to keep in mind. I have a few other charts I want to share with you. So the short-term holder profit ratio is actually, it crossed 1 for the first time in a week, which means that the short-term holders are now selling at a profit. So basically what you saw is on the way down, you saw Bitcoin being purchased here at this drop here. Some short-term holders bought here, that's fine. However, the bad thing is that they are already selling. They're not holding it for the long term. So that shows us that it's going to be tough for Bitcoin to see a sustained pump because you have overhead right now. And even the people that purchased at lower prices, they are selling and pushing down the price once again. So it was just like a short-term trade. Also, if you look at the first leg down in November, when Bitcoin went down in November, which is right here, boom, we went down. The amount of people that were accumulating here were much more than what you're seeing right now. So yeah, people are not really buying and accumulating this dip right now, which is a positive thing because the more kind of capitulation you see in the market, the closer we in general are towards the bottom. But we do have in the immediate short term some overhang here from people selling here at a profit even because they were buying the dip and already selling, not holding it for long term. Also, the recent drop to 60K imposed drastic psychological pressure on diamond hands, comparable to the May 2022 Luna crash. So what we do have right here is that you have the 7-day email long-term holder SOPR. It fell below 1, which means that essentially, to speak clearly, these people are selling at incredible losses right now. And previously, when you saw this massive downtrend here of selling at incredible losses, we did see some more downside before we saw a accumulation, like a consolidation period, and then we went up after that. So in the immediate short term, we need to be prepared also for more volatility, potentially towards the downside, but I still think that Bitcoin is really undervalued right now. So you also see this on this chart right here. You can see that potentially some more downside before on this particular chart, we see a potential bottom and then reversal towards the upside. Now, why is Bitcoin underperforming gold so bad? Because Bitcoin should be valued a lot higher relative to gold. It should be, but it's not. The valuation trend broke down once quantum came into awareness. Don't read this post if you want to stay high on hopium. So basically, what Willy Woo here is arguing is that because Bitcoin don't really have a solution to the quantum problem right now, and the quantum, by the way, is the theory that some computer at some day is going to be so powerful that they will be able to hack the Bitcoin network and take the lost coins, which is about $4 million. Sorry, it's not $4 million, it's 4 million coins. It could get access to these 4 million coins back into circulation. So, Willy Woo says it's about 75% chance that lost coins will not be frozen by a protocol hard fork. So, basically, what they are saying here, or what Willy Woo is saying, is that these coins are kind of expected to enter into circulation again, which means that many coins are going to be sold, which is going to push down the Bitcoin price, of course. So 4 million coins is actually 8 years of enterprise accumulation if you look at strategy and you look at the ETFs. So that's 8 years. That's quite a lot. So people essentially are counting on this and they're pricing it in. That's why Bitcoin is struggling to see another uptrend, because we don't have a solution for this just yet. And they're counting on these coins to be available again and enter into circulation, which is going to push down the price. Now, this is just a theory. You can read this for yourself if you want. Yeah, I do think that Bitcoin is going to hard fork and that we are going to find a solution to this. So Bitcoin, the fundamental properties of Bitcoin are still good. So we just need to keep our eyes on this and the progress. So far, there's no computer that is powerful enough to break the Bitcoin network and get these coins back into circulation. But we'll just have, with the development of AI, of course, things are going to accelerate in terms of progress towards the upside. That we can be pretty certain about, especially as AI is starting to kind of teach itself. But we will see. But for now, I'm not too worried about this, but I'm keeping close eyes on it, and I will update you accordingly. One final thing I want to end on is that the progress of AI is causing the traditional way of going to college, get a good job, putting it all into question. Because US college underemployment rate is at crisis levels. The underemployment rate for recent college graduates is up 42%, the highest since the 2020 pandemic. This means nearly half of all recent graduates are working jobs that do not require a college degree. The rate also matches the level seen during the 2008 financial crisis. Furthermore, 52% of all college graduates are underemployed upon initial entry into the labor market. So basically, people are getting these very expensive educations, and then end up working something that doesn't even require an education here. So with AI, people are going to be more unemployed in general. What is the solution to this? No one knows. That's why this is all pretty scary with the development of AI. But one reflection that I do have is that as people will not be able to make money working in the traditional sense, I do believe that people are going to gravitate more towards trading once again. The trend of trading is obviously not so big right now, not at least in terms of crypto, but I do think that you are going to see an inflow. At some point, you're going to see an inflow again of people that are taking on more risk with meme coins, with these things. So that's just one reflection that I have. We will see if that's going to be the case or not. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.